In the quiet hills of northern Aveline, where mist lingers over old ruins and wild roses grow between the stones, a girl named Elsie worked as a gardener. She wasn't from the city, she preferred silence to chatter, soil to silk. Every morning she carried her basket through the forgotten royal garden where time itself seemed asleep. The air smelled faintly of rain and old wonder. The birds sang but softly, as if afraid to wake something ancient. No one came here anymore. They said the castle was under a spell. That once long ago the entire royal court had fallen into endless rest and the flowers out of sorrow had faded with them. But one day, as Elsie brushed away the ivy from a cracked stone path, she saw something extraordinary. A single red rose glowing faintly in the shade. The rose was unlike any flower she had ever seen. Its petals shimmered as though they remembered sunlight from another age. When Elsie reached out, a whisper brushed against her ear. "You found me, gardener of the waking world." Elsie froze. The voice was soft like a sigh carried by the wind. She thought she was dreaming. But the rose spoke again. "I have waited so long." Each night after that, Elsie returned with a lantern. She cared for the rose, spoke gently to it, and listened to its stories. It told her of the resting kingdom where time had stopped. Of a princess who had been kind, but lonely. Of a spell born not from anger but from sadness. Long ago, the rose explained, the princess had loved the gardens deeply. She could make any seed bloom with a single touch. But when her mother, the queen, fell ill and passed away, the princess hid herself in her grief. Her magic, once gentle, turned inward until her sorrow spread through the roots of the garden and placed the entire kingdom into stillness. The rose was her final spell, a memory of what she used to be. When kindness returns to the soil, the rose said, so too will the kingdom wake. Elsie didn't understand what that meant, but she felt something awaken in her heart. Every flower she touched after that began to bloom again. Weeks passed, the rose began to fade. Its once glowing petals turned pale and its voice grew faint. Elsie begged, "Tell me how to help you." The rose replied, "Plant my last seed and promise to love what cannot love you back." It sounded strange, but Elsie understood. Love to her was not romance, it was care. It was the patience to help something grow even when no one else could see it bloom. So she dug deep into the soil beside the ruins, planted the rose's seed and watered it with her tears. The next morning the castle bell's long silent rang. The vines that had covered the towers began to blossom. The stone turned warm with sunlight. And from the heart of the garden roses rose from the earth in waves of crimson and gold. But there was no princess, no magical awakening, only the sound of life returning. The rose had not saved the royal line. It had saved the land. And in doing so it had freed every resting creature, every seed buried in sadness. The whispers of 1,000 flowers surrounded Elsie. She remembered us. She cared. The spell is over.